I believe if life is better for each individual, life is better for all of us. And that kind of is the impetus for me to do what I do. I'm Bettina Brownstein, and I'm a civil rights attorney and a political activist. I'm a California native, but I've been here about 40 years. Growing up near the beach was a big part of our lives. My parents were not pretentious, and I think they had really good values. I come from a Jewish family. I am Jewish, identified. There was a certain attitude about justice and fairness. My mother was a big world traveler. We got to go on these trips with her, so I had an international background, and that was important. I attribute a lot to that upbringing. I graduated from UCLA and I got a master's degree specializing in Southeast Asian history. I discovered politics. We were protesting against our involvement in the Vietnam War. And I was a member of a women's consciousness raising group dealing with feminism and issues of women empowerment. And we were not going to take our husbands' names if we got married. We were not going to wear high heels. And it was the most exhilarating and fun time of my life. I wanted to go to law school because I wanted to learn to think. And I love constitutional law. There is that. I loved it from the beginning. I applied for a job as a clerk with Judge John Singleton in Houston. And he said, "Are you planning to get pregnant?" And I said, "No, I'm not planning to get pregnant." Well, I wasn't. I was pregnant. I had my daughter, Toby. She was born during the break between semesters of my last year of law school. And it was a year before I told him that I had a child. There were things that led me think I should be a litigator, and I just fell into that. I never felt constrained to speak up or ask a question or be at the forefront. Finished law school at University of Houston, and then I went to clerk for a federal judge for 2 years. And my one friend in Houston who knew somebody here, Jim Gray, was an associate at the law firm of Wright, Lindsay and Jennings. And so I went there and interviewed, and I loved it. I moved here in '85, and I stayed for 30 years. Very decent place to work, and they tolerated me. One of the things I've been involved in for 20 years or more is the confluence of mental illness and the criminal justice system. And so recently, I and others picked up that ball again and tried to improve life for mentally ill people in jails in Arkansas. From the beginning, I did pro bono work for the ACLU. I always thought that was an important part of my practice. My specialty was abortion rights. My neighbor, Catherine West, and I, and Murray Newbern, who lived nearby, we were talking about how hard it was for women to raise money to run for political office. I think women in these professions were still subject to these stereotypes about the kind of woman who's going to be in a position of authority and power. We formed an Arkansas PAC, which since that time we grew from supporting 8 women candidates with $20,000 to $100,000 is what we give each election cycle. And we've got a great group of women, and that's what it's about. They're not going to make me give up. And if we don't, who will?